Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Primetime Local News. Abby St. John and Jasmine King here to bring you all the news, sports, weather, including our question of the day. What decade had the weirdest trends?
I mean, I've only been alive for two decades, but I've definitely say like the 2010s to now. I've just seen the weirdest stuff happen, and like the Tide Pod Challenge and just things like that have been really weird.
Definitely, I would agree. You know, I think including fashion choices between like 2000 and 2010 should just not exist. It should be erased from every memory.
Agree.
But I think every decade has their weirdness. But we will get to your comments and a little bit more. But first, we're going to Josh Ryan, who is on location today.
High school students from across the region are here in Bud Miller Park to celebrate the next chapter of their lives with their families. And while they're enjoying this park now, they may be back on Monday, where there's plenty of Canada Day festivities scheduled by the city here in Bud Miller Park. We have plenty coming up over the next hour to talk about what kind of entertainment you can find for all of the members of the family and some more adult-specific parts of the event as well. It goes right across the park, so there's plenty for everyone. First, let's go back to you guys in studio.
Thanks, Josh. A big announcement at City Hall today. Major funding for a new wastewater treatment facility in the border city aimed to protect our growing communities and the environment. The city is receiving $12.1 million from the government of Saskatchewan towards the cost of a new water treatment plant. The plant is estimated at $81 million to complete.
It is a huge sense of relief. We now have the ability to move forward, to plan and build a project that's not going to just serve our community today. For 10 or 20 years, we have plans that this project could be expanded down the road. People have asked me, what's so special about this? We're planning for the future.
The new plant will be built adjacent to the existing lagoons, and integrating the infrastructures will protect the future of the environment for all Lloydminster families.
It's important to protect and maintain a good environment for our future generations, and I think that quality of water and quality of living is important to everybody.
While the majority is coming from the Government of Canada, Alberta and Saskatchewan, the City of Lloydminster will provide more than $32 million towards the project and is responsible for any additional costs. The construction is scheduled to begin early next year. Starting in the fall, Mother Teresa Early Childhood Education Center will take a part of its education outdoors. The center is in the process of developing its first ever outdoor learning space, allowing students to ditch the desks and head outside, a concept the center greatly values, which made the outdoor park a no-brainer.
The philosophy of what we really wanted to do as far as being an early learning center encompassed the importance of bringing children outside. We know that the Saskatchewan curriculum values that in early learning very much. It's built right into our curriculum that children have experiences outside of the regular classroom.
Unlike a regular classroom, the space will feature a variety of interactive elements such as a truck garage, gravel pit, rock creek, and music wall, all part of a new form of learning that will hopefully keep kids interested.
We just find, more and more that children are not exposed to their natural environment as much as they could be. And it just makes for it elevates the learning experience for children when we can make it more enticing, more interesting, more exciting by also bringing them outside and experiencing learning in different ways.
Mother Teresa Center has raised over $25,000 for this project, as well as grants from the businesses in the community such as TD Bank and Synergy Credit Union. The project is hoping to be completed by early fall. Dana Crawford has combined her love of animals and hairstyling to create her own downtown pet grooming shop. Eric Bay has more on Groomer Has It in this week's BioClean Business Bio.
A love of animals that began at an early age for Dana Crawford led her to begin work with the SPCA, which in turn led her to make grooming a career.
And I know that my favorite part when I was even working at the SPCA was cleaning up all the dogs that were up for adoption, making sure they look their best. And my mom always told me, you're going to be a hairdresser, you're always doing your hair, you're always doing your makeup. I was like, I don't know, I love animals. Maybe I can be a dog hairdresser. I looked into it at age 19. I threw myself in a grooming school for 3 months. Best thing I could have ever done.
Crawford continues to help the SPCA through her store, donating all proceeds from nail trimmings to the local shelter.
I'm all for rescuing. I'm all for giving animals a second chance who've had it hard. I actually rescued for a while myself. In 2011, north of here, we pulled 289 dogs off of a reservation, which was needing a lot of help at the time. There was just a lot of problems, and we were able to help.
While Groomer has it may not be able to work as fast as larger businesses, it's the individual care of each animal that sets it apart from others.
Oh, it's of the utmost importance that every dog, every cat, every person that walks through my door knows that their animals are in great care, that they're going to have the most positive, beautiful grooming experience that they can have. Because unfortunately, there isn't a lot of people that are certified to the degree that we are here.
Groomer Has It provides grooming for animals of all sizes, including dogs, cats, and rabbits. And that's this week's BioClean Business Bio.
Business Bio, brought to you by BioClean. Call the Bio Team, 1-833-246-8326. The Disaster Specialists.
Now we go to our Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Well, it's very busy here at the Bud Miller Park with plenty of graduating students and their parents out to enjoy the day, take some photos. We're not going to talk about that right now with Canada Day just around the corner. I'm joined instead by Mackenzie Dow, the recreation programmer out of the BioClean Aquatic Center. And you're going to tell us a little bit about what's going on here in the park. So immediately behind us we have the spray park, the amphitheater as well. So what's the main focus going to be on Monday?
So back here on Monday at the amphitheater is going to be our Tim Hortons main stage. So we have a variety of entertainment happening there. And behind us as well is our Guardian Fun Zone. So that zone will consist of inflatable bouncy houses, inflatable attractions, and some stuff like that. So this is going to be a real cool zone to check out. And on the amphitheater stage, we also have Dirt Rich Band coming in at 7 as well to close our show. So this will be an awesome area to come and check out on the day.
A little bit of fun for the kids and plenty of musical entertainment for the adults. Who else is up on the main stage there?
Up on the main stage, we will also have the Prairie Dogs, as well as some local entertainment throughout the day. And some people will also be coming over from the Multicultural Showcase from Lakeland College, too, to do some spots on the main stage there. So,
multiculturalism, entertainment for the kids, and music. You can't ask for much more. We'll have more as well on Bud Miller Park festivities coming on Canada Day later on Primetime Local News.
Thanks, Josh. Well, taking a look at our current temperatures for Lloydminster, we're sitting at 20 degrees with mostly cloudy skies as expected for the rainy week that we've had. There's a 17-kilometer-an-hour wind shield coming in from the east, but it's nothing to be too concerned about. Looking at our records for this time, 35 was the high back in 2002, where 3 was the low back in 1985. Take a look at our satellite radar map here. As you can see, there is rain warning coming from all over both provinces, but mostly from the south, making its way up through the provinces. But again, it's a very rainy season right now, so that is very expected. Take a look at our watches and warnings. We have a rainfall warning in Edmonton area, and it seems like it's making its way up through the rest of the province. As not too long ago, it was just lower down, and now it's making its way up. Taking a look at current temperatures right now, as I said, 20 here in Lloydminster, 20 also in Edmonton, 22 in Athabasca, 23 in Cold Lake, 18 in Whitecourt, 14 in Edson and Jasper, 12 in Rocky Mountain House, 13 in Red Deer. Taking a look at the Saskatchewan side, 22 in North Battleford, 24 in Saskatoon, Melfort, Prince Albert, 23 in Meadow Lake. Taking a look, it's having some tech issues. There we go. Taking a look at more in-depth regional temperatures in North Battleford. Overnight, they'll see cloudy, clear skies with a little bit of rain with a high of 14. Tomorrow will be a high of 24 with a mix of cloud and sun with some rain. Cold Lake, they will have a clear sky tonight, overnight with a high of 13, and rain tomorrow with a mix of sun and cloud at a high of 20. For Lloydminster, overnight we may see some rain with a high of 14, and tomorrow a high of 22 with a mix of sun and cloud, with a chance we could see even a lightning storm. Take a look at the next 3 days. Over the weekend, 20 on Saturday with a 61% chance of some showers, maybe even a lightning storm. And Sunday will be a high of 21 with a mix of sun and cloud, and we may get a break from the rain. But as a first look at your weather, we'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. The government of Saskatchewan and federal government have extended the deadline to seed crops for green feed to July 15th as Saskatchewan farmers face a potential feed shortage. Eric Bay has more in this week's Ag Report.
The Agricultural Producers Association of Saskatchewan has put out a request to the provincial and federal governments to help farmers as crops, especially in the southern part of the province, struggle.
You know, the drought situation is alleviated to a point there. Last weekend's rains at the end of the week, eastern Saskatchewan saw some rainfall, but overall, especially for our cattle producers, you know, the hay crop is very minimal, and first cut's almost non-existent, and there's really going to be a feed shortage here throughout the summer and going into the fall and winter months.
The Lloydminster area hasn't seen the same conditions as other parts of Saskatchewan, but crops are still growing at a slower rate than normal, which could affect first cut.
Yeah, it's a year where, we're probably a little bit behind normal, but in the same token, things are looking reasonably good in this area. But there are some of the later seeded fields that definitely, as conditions dried out, those fields definitely maybe have a bit more patchy emergence.
While both governments have taken steps to offset a possible shortage, APIS is hoping the federal government takes further steps to alleviate the pressure on beef producers.
Certainly from the federal government that the livestock deferral program be implemented as quickly as possible, and that's just a program that producers that have to sell animals now because of either feed or water shortages can defer that income into next year, and hopefully, you know, within a year's time here, they'll be able to replenish their herds, and they won't have an income tax issue.
Lewis says that the problem is compounded as this is the third straight year with less rain than normal, causing producers' extra feed supply to run thin. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
This Ag Report is brought to you by the Lloydminster Co-op Agro Center. Depend on them for product, tools, and expert advice. Shop at your local Lloyd Co-op Agro Center with branch locations in Lashburn and Neilburg.
Now we'll take a look at your ag prices.
Every member of the City Centre Auto Body team has been through extensive training. We're constantly upgrading our team's education to reflect current collision repair technique.
Softball season wraps up in the next few weeks for Lloydminster Liners teams. While the provincial championship is the main focus, there's still some local business to take care of, which, as Josh Ryan explained, continues to help grow the sport in the region.
The Lloydminster Ladies Softball League continues to grow as a family affair.
Yeah, like some people are teachers of ours and some people are aunties.
It's fun to go up against people you know, and like it kind of pushes you harder because you want to do well. It really challenges us to push harder and work really hard to get wins.
The dynamic is equally entertaining for the adults, many of whom came up in the Liners program.
I'm actually a teacher, so a lot of the students that I teach are girls that I play against, but it's always fun and it's always good and it's always competitive ball, which is what we're here for, right?
While the older teams continue to enjoy playing ball, the 16U teams get valuable experience to supplement their tournaments.
I mean, you see a lot of good hitters in this league for sure, so you have our pitchers that have to stay sharp for sure. You can't just sleep through the games, obviously. It's important for us to get the reps here.
That same benefit applies to defense.
They hit the ball hard, so it gives us some good fielding practice going into our other tournaments.
Facing stronger, more experienced athletes provides a contrast against their peers.
Playing against stronger players definitely helps. When you go back to play against 16 and 15-year-olds, you're used to harder hit balls and further hit balls in the outfield. So just having the experience of more hustle and defense helps when you're up against smaller kids.
And for both groups, the atmosphere trumps the results.
And it's been lots of fun just to play back and forth.
Josh Ryan, Primetime Local Sports.
Now we go to our Josh Ryan, who is on location today.
Plenty on the way Monday for the Canada Day festivities presented by MNP for Lloydminster. We are now looking at the main stage area that will be the main source of entertainment for the day. So Mackenzie Dow, recreation programmer, what is our main stage entertainment?
So behind us is the set for our main attraction. So our main attraction is a freestyle motorcycle stunt show presented by Lethal Motorsports and Renowned Downhill Solutions. So there will be some seating there as well as some standing room and lots to see over here. Show times are at 1:30, 4, and 6:30. So come down, check it out. It's going to be really awesome.
And so is there any other local connections to the show in terms of the people performing? How long was the process, I guess, to get that set up?
The process, we booked these guys a while ago, so we're really looking forward to it. It should be a great show. But these are the only guys and performing here. All our local entertainment, the Dirt Rich Band, the Prairie Dogs, they're all going to be performing over at the Tim Hortons main stage at the amphitheater. So.
And of course, this will all depend a little bit on whether or not the weather is in great shape. But is there any form of transportation for some folks who have a little more trouble getting from spot to spot just because it's a couple of kilometers?
Yeah, so we actually have a shuttle running from the Lloydminster Comprehensive High School. It's going to start at 11:30 and it's going to run to a spot here just by Lakeland College, and then vice versa. It'll take people back to the school when they're all done here for the day. So we do have that.
So people, you'll get a chance to see both motorbike entertainment and the Dirt Rich Band, not to fear, even if you have a mobility issue. We're going to have more, including some on the kids' entertainment at the other side of the park coming up as well. But first, let's check in and see what's going on with your local weather.
Thanks, Josh. We'll take a look at current temperatures. We'll start on the Saskatchewan side. Still 20 here in Lloydminster, 21 in Maidstone, 18 in Macklin, 22 in North Battleford and Meadow Lake, 20 in St. Walburg, 22 in Pearceland, Green Lake, and Isla Cross as well. On the Alberta side, 21 in Vermilion and St. Paul, 20 in Edmonton, 18 in Vegreville and Provo, 17 in Wainwright, 18 in Bonnyville, 22 in Lac La Biche, and 23 in Cold Lake. Take a look at lower down in the provinces, 18 in Grand Prairie, 23 in Peace River, 21 in Slave Lake, 20 in Fort Chipewyan and High Level, 24 in Fort McMurray. On the Saskatchewan side, 21 in Buffalo Narrows, La Loche, and La Ronge, 22 in Flin Flon, 17 in South End, 12 in Wollaston Lake, 20 in Uranium City and Stony Rapids. Taking a look at southern Saskatchewan, 21 in Swift Current, 25 in Moose Jaw and Yorkton, 28 in Estevan, 26 in Regina, and 18 in Kindersley. On southern Alberta, 15 in Medicine Hat and Lethbridge, 16 in Calgary, 11 in Banff, and 18 in Coronation. Now take a look tomorrow, 22 here in Lloydminster as well as Marwayne and Vermilion, 23 in Wainwright and Provost, 21 in Vegreville, 19 in Edmonton and St. Paul, 20 in Bonnyville and Cold Lake, and 16 in Lac La Biche. On the Saskatchewan side, 23 in Macklin and Maidstone, 24 in North Battleford, 22 in St. Walburg, Meadow Lake, Green Lake, 20 in Pearceland, and 19 in Isla Cross. Now take a look at your 7-day forecast for Lloydminster. Friday, high of 22 with a 63% chance of some showers with a mix of sun and clouds. As well on Saturday, a mix of sun and clouds with a 61% chance of some showers. We may see even some lightning with a high of 20. High of 21 on Sunday with a 5% chance of some showers, so that's looking pretty good that we're getting a little break from the rain with a mix of sun and clouds. 22 on Canada Day with a 55% chance of some showers with a mix of sun and cloud. 17 on Tuesday will get a little bit lower in the temperatures with mostly cloudy skies. Wednesday, yesterday, it looked like it was going to be perfectly sunny, but now we're looking at some cloud coverage with mostly sun with a high of 19. A high of 19 on Thursday as well with a cloudy sky with only an 18% chance of some showers. We are around our averages for this time of year with a high of 22 and a low of 10. But that is a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Now to our Josh Ryan, who was on location earlier today.
Behind me is where you'll find the young and the young at heart on Canada Day. Mackenzie Dow, recreation programmer out of the BioClean Aquatic Center, will once again tell us a little bit about what's going on with those festivities and 2 very special zones here.
Yes, so behind us here is the Nissan Tiny Titan Zone as well as our BioClean Adventure Zone. So the Nissan Tiny Titan Zone is going to feature inflatable bouncy castles, inflatable attractions, musical entertainment, as well as our horse and wagon rides. And our BioClean Adventure Zone is going to feature our larger inflatable attractions. We have batting cage, mechanical bull. It's going to be really awesome and something very cool to check out. So.
Any of those new, particularly on the latter half, any of those batting cages and stuff in addition from previous years?
The batting cage is actually new. So these zones feature old attractions that people look forward to and look forward to every year. And some of them are newer this year. So I'm really excited. I hope people like them.
And one thing we haven't really talked about yet is what people are going to do for nourishment. That's back in the parking lot area. Any particular vendors that are new this year or any particular types of dishes that will be much looked forward to?
Mini donuts I find is always a fan favorite, as well as Kona Ice is going to be here. And the Canadian Brewhouse is actually going to be here serving pizza and stuff. And then we have a wide variety of other things. So definitely come check it out and grab some food too.
And I guess just really quickly as we wrap up, just how important is it that we continue to have such a big showing from the city on Canada Day?
I think an event like this really brings the community together. It brings families and friends together to celebrate this great country. So I think putting this event on every year is really important, just bringing people together and having an awesome time.
We'll see you guys one more time to wrap things up. But first, what's going on with your question of the day?
Josh. Well, our question of the day, what's one decade that had the weirdest trends? It's definitely an out there question. A lot of comments said either now or the 80s, which we're not from the 80s, but we've seen shows and movies from the 80s. So yeah, that makes sense. So reading some of your comments, now the tattoos, the pants that don't stay up, and all the hair colors of the rainbow. That's a pretty interesting one. And the last 5 years has been the weirdest in my lifetime, but the 80s were pretty weird too. So we had a couple 50s and 70s as well, but 80s and now were really the popular.
And I can see why, because now just seeing how people they take risks a lot more now, and then their risks become trends. Yeah. So like weirdest things are somehow like popular, like the Tide Pod, or like the person said like the weird colors of the hair.
Yeah.
I see that so much now. It's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. But one trend that we will never get tired of is pets. We're taking a look at your pets of the day. This is Aries.
Aww,
very adorable.
Smiling.
This is Miss Mac.
Oh, so furry.
Yeah, looks mischievous as well. This is Marie.
Just staring down the camera.
Yeah, I love the eyes. They look very yellow and almost Halloween-esque. Winnie and Wrangler.
Aww, cuddling on the bed together.
So cute. And this is Molly.
Just taking a nice nap.
Yeah, with I love the added touch with the remote saying just lounging after a long day. Wow, very adorable. Well, if your pet was shown today or any day this week, you're automatically entered to win a Pet Pad gift card, which we are giving away tomorrow during the second hour of our news.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
In studio today, I have the 2 head coaches of Lakeland Rustlers basketball, Sheree Thomas of the men's side and Chris King on the women's side. Kinger, it's been a while since we've had you in studio.
Yeah.
Sheree, I don't think I've had you in studio for a one-on-one ever.
No, this is brand new.
So So a bit of old, bit of new, should be a fun mix. And we're going to start by talking about what's been on everyone's minds, even though it's a couple weeks later, which is the Toronto Raptors winning the NBA championship. And you saw sort of the Jurassic Park element going out across Canada, bars here in town. There's no Jurassic Park specifically, but a lot of bars here in town had a good time. You guys are in tune with both the college scene and a little bit with the youth scene. Have you ever seen basketball so prevalent and so hyped up in Canada in your lifetime?
No. I would say this is a golden time. Just around town here, when I'm running into people that have nothing to do with basketball, never watched a game before, they're mentioning the Raptors, saying it's the first time they tuned in and they loved it, didn't know how athletic the guys were, and will potentially tune in the future.
Yeah. How much do you think that just has to do with it being a winner for the first time in a long time too?
Oh, I think that part's absolutely huge. And if you look at Canada, us only having one team, it kind of everyone rallied around. So as Shrey was saying, some of the people that I watched the game with were hockey people, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is so awesome! This is so great!" They didn't realize how fun it is to watch a playoff NBA game because they had no reason to, other than the Dinos being in the finals. So it's pretty cool to see that happen.
Now, the question that's been on a lot of sports shows, as well as even on just sort of the mainstream news coverage on CTV, on Global, which is that does this mean there's going to be a shift in popularity for basketball? Obviously, it's going to receive some kind of bump. We saw that with the Vince Carter era. We saw that even around the time Andrew Wiggins was drafted. Now you'd think there's going to be a further bump of young, great players. Could this be a situation where basketball reaches hockey level popularity and that is like a full nationwide shift? Or is it going to be a little bit more status quo in the next couple of years?
You see basketball increasing every year. This year in the draft was the most Canadians drafted in the NBA ever. Every year there's more and more Canadians that are playing the NCAA, more and more Canadians that are playing basketball across Canada. I think it's the second fastest growing sport in Canada right now, second to soccer. So it seems like we're shifting that way.
Okay. And it could be a question too, is it going to be bigger in some areas of the country and smaller in some areas?
Yeah, I think the urban cities, as Shrey touched on, it's growing immensely right now in the urban cities, and it's starting to trickle down into the smaller communities. Like we'll see a growth here in Lloyd, and we have the last few years, and that really started with the Steve Nash, Vince Carter era, and now all these kids coming out being drafted are products of watching Nash and the Raptors, and some of them even the Grizzlies. So the bigger areas, we're seeing more and more club teams, more and more kids playing, and the talent level is getting higher and higher because, of course, basketball, fewer people on the court, fewer people on the team, so it's making it really elite in terms of the higher level.
And you've seen, I guess, a bit of a movement towards sort of the national level basketball as well with the Edmonton Stingers. I know it's kind of a small, almost amateur level thing at this moment, but that's fairly recent, kind of a recent progression. Is that a case of that becoming almost a minor league or something like the G League eventually, or is that only going to remain sort of a almost amateur league of its own?
It could venture in. We have the NBL Canada, which is a league that was around before that. That's basically in Ontario and the eastern part of Canada. So the Edmonton team is western part. It's the first year. I think it's great. We have to see in the next couple of years how it grows. But I could potentially see those two teams merging together. And then you have NBA players that have played in the league, like this past year in the NBL Canada, Big Baby Davis from LSU, and then played in the NBA and played with the Boston Celtics. He played in the NBL Canada. So you never know. It's growing, and you could definitely see it, potentially merging into a G League potential.
And of course, that G League has also been successful, particularly with the Raptors 905. We'll have more with these guys later on Primetime Local News.
Monday is Canada Day, and the City of Lloydminster has a huge party planned for right here in Bud Miller Park. 1 p.m. is when the official opening ceremonies get underway, and then 1:30 is your first chance to see the freestyle motorcycle stunt show. It's on throughout the day here at Bud Miller Park. They're going to have a kids area where you can play in the bouncy houses. You can try out the mechanical bull. You can head to the Lloydminster Cultural and Science Center craft tent. There's going to be wagon rides. There's going to be a lot of great great things going on, including great live music. You can see the Prairie Dogs at the amphitheater, and also the Dirt Rich Band will be playing as part of Canada Day celebrations here at Bud Miller Park. And of course, a huge fireworks display at 11 p.m. So if you're in Lloydminster, you better head to Bud Miller Park on Monday. Coming up on Canada Day, if you're looking for a place to start your day with a pancake breakfast, well, you can head for Manville. Starting at 9 a.m., the Chamber of Commerce will be hosting a pancake breakfast, and then the Manville Classic Cruisers are hosting their second annual show and shine. That's going to start at 11 a.m., so great opportunity to check out some really classic rides and have a great day out together as a family. That's coming up in Manville on Monday for Canada Day. And coming up this weekend, it'll be your first opportunity to see a new exhibit that's coming to the Lloydminster Cultural and Science Centre, World War Women. It's on loan from the Canadian War Museum. First chance for you to see it is this Saturday. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, I hope you have a great one. I'm Heather Klegus, and that's what's happening.
Back with the guys, Trey and Chris from Lakeland College, and let's focus on Lakeland College for the next couple of minutes. You guys both had successful seasons, maybe not the exact finish you guys wanted going into the year. Obviously, you guys had championship hopes, as did you guys, but still played well against good teams, won your last game and finished with a bronze medal. What's the off-season been like? And we'll start with Chris, because you don't lose a lot from this current team, but there's a couple of key spots you needed to fill.
Yeah, I think a big thing for us is getting over the hump, right? We won that bronze medal this year. Next year, our goal is the same every year, win nationals. It hasn't happened yet, but we're getting older. So we lose our best scorer in Caitlin Tanita. We addressed that with a couple imports. Bill Gay is back. She was a big piece of the puzzle for us. And we got a new Australian coming in that can really score the ball. So we think we're getting stronger with some youth, and we're getting older, which has never happened in the women's basketball program. We haven't had a group of girls in third, fourth, fifth years like this before. So this is new ground for us.
And some local talent added as well.
Yes. Lana Olson from Maidstone. We're super excited about her. Very athletic girl. Already, I think it's going to be great. Last girl that we had locally was Brooklyn Bertoya, and to have someone play at home is a really big thing for us because it brings in the fan in the community.
And now, Sheree, you had a different situation with your roster where you were struggling to have enough bodies to put on the court really in the first half of the season, and you said at the end of the year you don't want to be in that situation again. Safe to say you're not going to be in that situation of playing just 7 guys?
Hopefully. That's always the plan, right? At this time every year I'm around 25 guys, and it dwindles down to about 12, and then by the time practice starts sometimes it's 6. That's just the nature of the beast at our level, especially with guys. If they get a call right now for a better opportunity, they're gone. Or if current situation with cash is not up to par, then they're not going to show up. But yeah, right now I think I'm ahead of the curve. I think we'll have pretty much 90% of our roster returning. We'll try to get some other key pieces that we're working on right now. So I think it's an exciting year. I think it's an exciting time for Rustler's athletics in general. If you look at the past, I guess since I've been here, the past 5 years, a couple of years ago, we had 3 teams ranked nationally, for the first time ever. Like Chris was saying, last year was his best finish in women's basketball. A couple years ago was arguably the best season for men's basketball. 3 years ago, if you look at women's volleyball, they won it all. That was the best season. So if you look at Rustler's athletics in general, we've been pretty strong.
And then you guys all have championship aspirations aside from the men's volleyball team, but they also have been showing some growth. What would it mean to sort of see all of you guys in the playoffs at the same time?
Yeah, we're real close to that. I think it just shows the level of dedication probably to the athletic department, to the teams over the past dozen years. As Shrey's saying, he's been here for 5, but for us, myself and the Dyers and Kevin Wagner even, like, we've been here long enough, and all the teams are really competitive. If they're not in playoffs, they're very close. So not many schools can boast that all their teams are making playoffs, and we're right on the cusp of that happening.
And then just less than 30 seconds to go. The MCAC is probationally made a member in volleyball and soccer, I believe. They don't have a basketball probationary period yet. Is that a good, if that comes down the road in say 5 years, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I say anytime you add teams, I think that's a good thing. You see more athletes, you know, see different teams hopefully at the national level. We'll have to see. It's going to be, you know, hard getting in there for first year. That's always tough when teams have been going forever. But I always think it could be a good thing anytime you're trying to expand.
Really just narrows because of the wild card.
Yeah, I don't love it. I don't love it. It takes away an athlete pool that we recruit from at Lakeland, so that's a personal thing, though.
Fair enough. Thanks for joining us again, guys, and enjoy the rest of the cast on Primetime Local News. Despite how rainy it's been over the past couple of weeks, there are still kids enjoying themselves out of the spray park. So I guess splashing around in water is universal no matter what the weather is like. We're hoping that the weather's certainly drier than it is today, and it has been over the past couple of days. There's still a chance of precipitation scheduled for Monday. But I still think we'll see lots of people coming out from the city. This is one of the biggest, most well-attended events that city management ever puts on throughout the year, and it gets everyone from any demographic to come on out, and there's plenty of entertainment as a reason for anyone there. If you are certainly planning on coming, there's plenty of food out in the parking lot. You have the main stage by the BioClean Aquatic Center. Don't forget the shuttle service starting at 11:30, and we'll go back to you guys in studio to wrap up Hour 1.